Baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to warm a lonely night. I love you, baby.
Reach out every Monday
On
BronxNet, 8:30 p.m. with Robbie Robinson, our musical director.
Really?
Yeah.
No!
Yes.
Robbie Robinson?
Yeah.
Frankie Valli's guy?
Yeah.
Not bad. Listen, check your local listings for the time.
Thank you, Ralph.
You're welcome.
Colin Powell was a regular guy, 4-star general, and he never forgot where he came from.
Colin Powell was born in Harlem, New York on April 5, 1937.
His parents came from Jamaica. He was raised in the South Bronx. As he says, he was just lucky to escape drugs, which he escaped, or being shot or shooting someone.
If his parents were working, his aunts were in the other tenements looking out the windows, making sure he stayed straight.
Powell went to New York City public schools.
He went to City College of New York, and that's where he found the ROTC, and it felt good to him, and he was good at it.
After graduating in 1958, Powell was commissioned as a U.S. Army second lieutenant. He met and married Alma Vivian Johnson. The couple has 3 children. In 1962, Powell was deployed to Southeast Asia.
While he was there, his wife Alma was with her family in Birmingham, Alabama, and while he was in the jungles of Vietnam, the racists in Birmingham, Alabama were blowing up churches.
In 1963, while on patrol, Powell was wounded by a booby trap. He rose through the ranks, and during a second Vietnamese tour, Major Powell survived a chopper crash. He was injured, but still managed to pull others from the wreckage.
He received a Purple Heart. Those kinds of experiences really shaped him very much.
Powell earned an MBA from George Washington University in 1972. He was promoted to Brigadier General for the 101st Airborne in 1979.
Colin Powell is an extraordinarily impressive man in a room full of impressive people.
Powell served in several positions during the Carter and Reagan administrations. In 1987, he became the National Security Advisor. In 1989, General Powell was made the first African-American chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff by President George H.W. Bush.
I once interviewed him when he was chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and said, General Powell, here you are, son of Jamaican immigrants, born in Harlem, raised in the South Bronx. You're black, and you're chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He said, it's a wonderful country, Sam. It's a wonderful country.
In August 1990, Iraq invaded its oil-rich neighbor Kuwait. Powell led a coalition of nations to force Iraq out of Kuwait.
Reporters asked Colin Powell how he was going to deal with the million-man Iraqi army. Powell kind of smiled and he said, first we're going to cut it off, and then we're going to kill it.
Powell made very clear that the United States shouldn't go in unless it went in all the way. Massive overkill. It shouldn't be a fair fight. We need to overwhelm the enemy. And this was known as the Powell Doctrine.
The brief, successful action made Colin Powell a national hero.
Every time an adult gives up on our kids, every time we surrender to the belief that their future is out of our hands, another child is left behind. I'm General Colin Powell, and I don't believe in giving up. That's why I'm asking you to join America's Promise. Log on to americaspromise.org or give us a call. Whoever you are, wherever you are, you can do.
Reach out, oh, wait and see. Reach out, wait and see. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the car.
Hello, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Reach Out with Ray and Steve. This is the show where East meets West, where the Yankees meet the Dodgers, baseball meets music, and we all come together for community. All right, everybody, come on, let's bring on the hosts, Ray and Steve. Come on in, gentlemen.
¿Qué pasa, Roberto?
Hey, how you
¿Qué
doing,
pasa?
Robbie?
I'm doing good. I mean, I'm not very happy right now about baseball, but I'm hanging in there. I still have hopes and dreams here.
Well, let me just ask Robbie, number one, the first question naturally that I have to ask before we get into the whole Colin Powell thing. How is your boss, Mr. Frankie Valli, doing?
Mr. Frankie Valli is recovering, and he is going to be better. And he's being very safe and a little bit very prudent in terms of he's going to take it slow and easy in terms before we get back on the road. But he's doing well.
And do you miss being on the road, Robbie? I mean, you guys were supposed to be coming east soon.
Hey, well, I'm used to, after that pandemic, sitting home for a year and a half. I'm getting used to it. I don't know. No, I'm fine with it, you know.
You created your own little world over there.
I just live in my little bubble right here. Yes.
Well, all I know is that, you know, we were ready to start negotiations with Frankie in regards to keeping Robbie Robinson here as opposed to going on the road. So, you know, I don't know what we're going to do. And I don't know how negotiations are going to get because your agent's a real pain in the neck, Robbie. So we'll see.
Well, I hate to tell you, but our agent may be a little bit tougher than your agents because you better be careful what you say in the public domain here. Because, you know, have you ever seen The Godfather?
Oh, are you're gonna bring the Godfather card out, huh?
I'm not gonna say.
But Robbie, don't forget the Dodgers are down 2-0.
Well, yeah, you know what? I may remind our Yankee friends over there in New York.
Here we go.
Hey, we've got them right. To quote my great hero Tommy Lasorda, we got them right where we want them. Last year, the Braves were up 2-0 to the Dodgers. They won the first two games. We came back and won it all. Now, and if you want to go back to some of the good old days, like 1981, when the Dodgers and the Yankees were in the World Series, the Yankees beat the Dodgers the first two games. Dodgers came back, bang, 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 and won the series, World Series, 1981.
Wow. You mean it's the 27-time world champion Yankees, those guys?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the current reigning world champion Dodgers.
Well, I think the Dodgers will come back. It's still early. I mean, down 2-0 is nothing. So I think you could take them. I think, Braves have got a good team, but the Dodgers' back's against the wall, so we'll have to see.
And I just want to add that I was visiting Sloan Kettering about a week ago, and ran into my friend Joe Garrido, who's in the sports field from the Bronx, and his wife, who's been battling cancer for the last 6 years. And I just want to let Joe know that we are always praying for him. And as a matter of fact, I consider him a hero because he has been by his wife's side all 6 years in every way, shape, or form. So, Joe, I'm proud of you.
Wow. Well,
awesome.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. You know, we have a Bat Boy show coming up November 16th at the Yogi Berra Museum. The whole Berra family is going to be there. But more importantly, we're giving back all the proceeds to a program called Voices, which is a program by a mom and a dad, a husband and a wife, after they lost their son in 9/11 20 years ago. So they started this program, and all the proceeds, like we always do, and this time around, we're going to get back to Voices. So that's November 16th at the Yogi Berra Museum.
And we're actually giving the check to the last show from our last show. So we're making a presentation to this family in Babylon, Long Island this coming week.
That's right. That's right.
And that's the story.
Yeah. And recently we had a couple of events locally here, and Carmine was producing some of these events, and we got the opportunity to be in Glen Cove here in Long Island. Chef Morris, who gives back a lot. Chef, he's a great cook, but he also gives a lot back to his community. It's a 1-year anniversary of his restaurant, so people turned out. It was a great time. There's Carmine and I behind the scenes there. It was a great time, and Chef got an award by the councilwoman of Glen Cove there. So we want to thank Morris and his wife Elsa for inviting us there. It was a couple hundred people there. It was a great event.
Well, Robbie, are you there?
I'm here, and I noticed something really cool in that picture. That jersey that Carmine was wearing. I guess he's seeing the no. Back it up a one. Right there.
Oh, there. Okay.
That's a Brooklyn Dodger jersey.
Wow, you would notice that, Robbie.
Yeah.
Wow. Carmine, what are you wearing that for?
Hey, you got to represent it. Robbie, I have a text here from what's the name of the chef?
Morris.
Yeah. It says, "Dear Robbie, could you control the people that work for you?" Basically, Steve Vaccaro. He came here to do a program, and all he did was eat.
Oh, wow. This guy. All right, so thanks. It only took 10 minutes to throw me under the bus, so that's good. Usually it's like 1 minute, so we're good.
Well, you guys are back together again, aren't you? After you've been missing each other.
But I'm happy because Lenny Randall, he's one of our guests today. He has some ties to the Minnesota Vikings. I'm a Vikings fan. They won.
What does Lenny Randall know about the Minnesota Vikings?
We'll talk about it, but they won. We're on the road to the Super Bowl.
Lenny came out to talk baseball.
He'll talk baseball, but he's got something to talk about.
You always throw him,
But Bat Boy is a story, and Yankee Miracles kind of goes over Thurman Munson, your relationship with Thurman Munson, Billy Martin, George Steinbrenner.
Lenny was there in that period.
And Reggie Jackson. But Ray, did you know Reggie can cut a joke?
Well, let's see. Let's see this. He's not that funny.
Funniest joke I ever heard, I tell you. One day must have been 15, 20 years ago, I'm jogging in the park, and all of a sudden this old guy runs right by me. I mean, going fast. So I speeded up a little bit, and I caught the old fella. I say, "No, excuse me, sir, but you're running pretty good. Could you tell me how old you are?" The guy said, 80 years old. I said, 80 years old? So I was, running alongside him. I said to him, you mind if I ask you a personal question? You still make love every day? He said, "Yep, almost every day." I said, "Wow, is that right?" He said, "Yes, that's right, son. Almost Monday, almost Tuesday, almost Wednesday, almost Thursday." that's what I've heard.
Did you know Reggie had it in him?
Robbie, what do you think about that?
There we go.
That's what I think.
Okay.
You know what? Reggie wasn't very funny in 1978 either, or 77.
Okay, well, you know what? We're going to play this. Since you brought it up, let's check out what Reggie did to your boys before we really get into it. Let's check it out.
And the Yankees are threatening big time. Lou Piniella up against Tommy John. And with one out, here's the most talked about play of the series. It's a perfect double play ball, except that Reggie sticks his hip in the way. The ball gets away, the run scores, and I'm screaming for an interference call.
Reggie got out of the way.
Hey, you know what? They talked about that at the playoff game just yesterday or the day before. They had Garvey interviewing Steve Garvey, and he talked to Reggie. He said, and Reggie admitted it, that he stuck his derriere out there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, we didn't hear it. Reggie's telling jokes on our show, so I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear that. So.
But you know what? On a serious note, it's about Colin Powell. We lost an American hero, and we started the show talking about that. So we have Louis Castillo backstage. We want to bring him on because he has a personal experience that he wants to share with our viewers. Squeegee, are you there?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
How are you?
Hey, Robbie Robinson, Mr. Rey Negron, Steve Vaccaro. ¿Cómo está?
¿Cómo está? How you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. Hearing the news, Rey Negron called me this morning. I just got out my bed, and he tells me Mr. Colin General Powell has passed away, and it brought, sadness to my heart. And Ray and I shared an experience last summer he came to my mom's neighborhood, Mr. Negron, and we were talking to kids, and he actually, Mr. Colin Powell, actually went to the middle school that I attended and many from my neighborhood. It was called back then IS 52, and now it's MS 302. And Mr. Colin Powell is a big symbolism of inspiration and motivation because he passed by through that neighborhood when it was very poor, very separated, and a lot of drugs were infested in that neighborhood. But he made us believe because he attended that school and he went on to do big things in his life. And he came from the South Bronx, from that neighborhood on Kelly Street, which has been all over the news. And a guy like Colin Powell, it's a big inspiration for our youth nowadays, you know, coming in and growing up and wanting to become someone. And he shows that, you know, it doesn't matter where you come from. You know, you can make dreams come true if you work hard, stay on the positive road, and give back to others like he did.
Now, last week you was at a school, PS 55, in the Bronx with Gio Urshela. And do you have that little video of Gio Urshela and Luis Castillo?
Very, very special, like Boogie said. And Mr. Gio Urshela, I was a former Yankee bat boy in the 90s of the dynasty. And I want to tell you something. As a kid, my childhood idol was David Cone. And I work for him now. And it touches my heart what you do for these kids. They look up to you. And you're a great role model. You keep working hard. And you're going to be a winner, brother. You hear me? Thank you. And let's give him a round of applause. Because as a bat boy, I know these players are always busy. And they have their own personal life. But for him to take his time to come here, it shows that he loves you guys. And this is the inspiration that you guys need. This is your motivation. Doesn't matter where you come from. You all can make it. You all leaders, each and every one of you. God bless you all.
Nice job, Squeege.
That's awesome. Awesome.
And it's the aspect that last summer we visited that school to, in essence, honor Mr. Powell, not thinking that he was going to leave us anytime soon. At the same time, put that picture up again. This is what guys do. Okay, this is Gio Urshela with the kids in the Bronx, and this is a day after they lost the playoff game, and right. it just shows you that, you know, the kids, how important these kids are, and ball players need to, in essence, give, you know, continue to give.
Right. I mean, well said, Luis. Great job at CS55. Ray, thank you for setting that up and working with everybody, with Gio. There were so many great people that came out, but it was all for the kids, and that's what we always do. And before we get a little further, Colin Powell has mentioned over and over again in different interviews how it's important to give back to our youth. And now, check this out. He talks about mentoring. Let's see what he has to say.
What mentors do for children is to pass on 100 previous generations of experience. And if that is not passed on to a youngster, the youngster will get that experience in the street. That's why mentoring is so important. That's why each and every one of us who has some time, some talent, and some willingness to get into the life of a child will volunteer to do that. It doesn't mean you become their parent. It just means you're there for them. January is National Mentoring Month. Share what you know. Become a mentor.
January is National Mentoring Month, so we'll remember that. And I never forget what Frankie Valli always says, that, you know, you can be a giant and be nice, or you can be a giant and not be nice. And it's just as easy to be nice, right. You know. And I always like that. He said that, actually, believe it or not, on the Yes Network when I was showing you that to you about a week ago, Robbie.
Yeah.
And can I say something, guys, on behalf of Steve and Robbie? I want to tell, you know, Ray this so he can understand where I'm coming from. What he's done mentoring me over the years and helping me understand, because I'm not perfect. No one is perfect in this world. But Amen. When someone like that doesn't give up on you, just like Mr. Colin Powell said, And what Ray's done for me, and now I can pass that baton down and help someone else out. That's what us human beings should all do all around this world, you know, and it will make this world a better place. And that's what I pray for every day.
And let me just say that Robbie, so you know, and Steve Malzberg, who's one of the great journalists in New York, and is that Luis Castillo, who was a Yankee bad boy,
right,
and came from those streets. The opportunity of becoming a bad boy, I honestly believe, saves his life. And at the same time, just like me, Robbie, he had his cousin murdered a few months ago. Okay, murdered. Okay, shot and killed. And I went through that same experience when I had become a Yankee bat boy, and it was a horrible. I mean, you know, we never get over that. We never get over that. And I mean, how do you feel about that, Louis?
Well said, Ray. I feel that, you know, if we can keep doing what we're doing, man, and change these kids' minds, nobody has to suffer the way we suffered and many before us have, losing a sibling innocently to the streets. And that's why it's so important to fulfill these urban communities with more programs and people like Gio and Mr. Colin Powell and many that have come, and you, Ray and Steve, what you guys do for the Bronx, man, and for every urban kid out there. Let's just not stop. Let's keep going. Change people's minds.
As the old song says, reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can.
Amen.
There you go. There you go. Squeegee, thank you. We love you, brother. Keep up the great work that you do. And thank you for reaching out to those kids over and over again in the Bronx, in your community. And it means so much coming from you. We love you, brother.
And
love you guys too.
And Robbie Robinson,
yeah.
I'm going to want you to really send out a prayer, because I know your prayers are getting to God a lot quicker than mine. And I want you to give a special prayer to Louis tonight, because, you know, he's being pushed in a bad direction from the standpoint of revenge, and revenge doesn't work. You understand? And I keep on telling him that. I think he hears me, but at the same time, numbers are coming at him, and I don't want him to be going out in the streets and doing what he can't be doing.
Well, Luigi, I'm going to be praying for you. As a matter of fact, right now I'm going to say, dear Lord, I just lift up my brother Luigi to you, and I pray, Lord, you're going to give him your peace, the peace that passes all understanding, and give him just comfort and ease any tension that he might have brewing in his body. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Peace, Screech. Love you, man. What a great guy. I mean, the people that he does so much great work in the community, and thanks for that prayer. But we have another New York legend here, the graduate of Lafayette High School and Brooklyn College. He has his own talk show, the Steve Malzberg Show, and he's had a career journalist in New York. Let's bring on Steve Malzberg onto the show. I know, Ray, you know Mr. Malzberg for many, many years.
I never met him in my life.
Oh, there we go. Steve, welcome to Reach Out.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm just enjoying everything that's going on. You know, you guys are talking. I'll be satisfied with that.
Well, we try to bring everything together. But your career, sir, I mean, you're a New Yorker. What's your thoughts about Colin Powell?
Well, you know, right now I do a show called Eat the Press on RT America, and we look at the media and the bias in the media. And I'm reminded about, you know, I see the media rightfully praising him right now, but this is in many cases the same media that was very, very hard on him, you know, when he worked for Republican presidents. So there are examples out there of people who, you know, took him to task. There are people who called him names, like they call Condoleezza Rice names, sell out along those lines. I'm not going to mention all the names, which still goes on today against people like the Senator Tim Scott. He's called all kinds of names on MSNBC regularly for being a sellout, if you will. So it's good to see. It's sad that it would take Colin Powell's death, which I believe that all the positive now is due in large part to the fact that he supported Joe Biden. He was dead set against Donald Trump. Unfortunately, politics do play a role in the way someone is remembered, even someone as great and unquestionably great as Colin Powell when it comes to service to his country.
Well said. Now, you've been a New Yorker through and through, and you came up in the ranks back in the 70s, subbing for Art Russ Jr., and then you did your own thing. And I believe your intern was Steve Levy. But can you share a little some thoughts about Art Russ Jr.? This is before WFAN came in existence.
Well, it was actually the 80s.
Okay.
I started at WABC in 81. I met Art at WMCA off of an internship that I did in 1979. He was doing weekends, and he immediately, we took to each other, and I produced and booked his show in 79. He went to WABC. ABC went from music to talk. Of course, they were the legendary WABC Music Radio. They went from music to talk in 81. They brought Art on to do, they got the Yankee games and brought Art on to do a sports talk show leading into the Yankee pregame show. After a month or so, we had the great baseball strike of 1981. And so there was no baseball. So Art, instead of being on from 7 to 7:45 before the pregame, was on from 6 to 9. And there was, like you said, there was no FAN, and it was the only game in town, and it just took right off.
Wow, I mean, that's great, and you filled right in there too. But there's another known journalist, TV guy there that I've always been fond of, and I believe you had close ties with. That's Phil Donahue. Talk about your work with Phil Donahue.
Well, yeah, I mean, I switched from sports. I migrated from sports to politics. I always put politics in my sports. I always had it in me. I'd always look for social stories, whether it was Jesse Jackson protesting a paucity of NFL coaches, black NFL coaches, and threatening boycotts, or whether it was Philip Bondi and Aaron, New York Times. It'll come back to me. Aaron. Anyway, they wrote a book together about the NBA, which had some politically incorrect or politically correct things that rubbed me the wrong way. So I always had politics in me, and I think this was in 2001 or 2002, and right up until the Iraq War, which of course, ironically or maybe not ironically, you bring up because Colin Powell was involved in that. But once the Iraq War started, they took Phil Donahue off of MSNBC. But I was a contributor to his show, and I loved working with him. I loved going head-to-head against him, one-on-one or in groups. And I remember a show about Trent, when Trent Lott got in trouble for something he said. Phil was roaming through the audience with his microphone and listening to people. And I just shouted from the stage as I'm sitting next to Jesse Jackson. I said, "That is such a bunch of bull." And he turns around and he comes right down to me and he puts on one-on-one. We're going like this for about 2 minutes. It was fantastic. So I was sad when that ended, but he's still around, I do believe, and it was a great experience. Great man.
Wow. Now you have an incredible relationship with the president of the New York Yankees, who in essence came from politics, from the whole political arena. I mean, a very, very powerful man, and Randy Levine. Tell us a little bit about that and why he is as great as he is as a president of the New York Yankees.
Well, I think, the success of the Yankees speaks for itself. I mean, you could point to things that you're not happy with as a fan if you want to, but the success of the organization during the time, and of course, great history, but we're talking about Randy, during Randy Levine's tenure is unquestionable. And he is the president. I mean, we talk a lot about the general manager, we talk a lot about the manager, we talk a lot about the players. But if you say things start at the top, and we talk about the owner, and that's the top, obviously, but certainly after George Steinbrenner passed, Hank is I'd say quite a bit less hands-on. And I think the role of the president becomes more important than it was before. Not to take away from anybody who served in that before, but if you say it starts at the top, you got it. Who's at the top? You look at Randy Levine, and like you said, it was from politics, Giuliani administration into the Yankees, and I always was a fan of his in his role in politics, and we just clicked, and I interviewed him several times. And, I've been fortunate enough, along with my son, we come up once or twice a year and see Randy and watch the game from his suite and see you, Ray. And it's just, he's a wonderful, a heart the size of a giant.
Wow.
As big as he is, his heart is bigger. And as important as he is, his heart is bigger. He's just a wonderful man, and he's been very good to me and my family, and I can't thank him enough.
Now, Trump tried to get him to, in essence, join his administration as like an attorney general at one point, and he wouldn't do it. Why? And would our country have been better had he done it?
Well, I did not know that. I can say I was not happy with either of the attorney generals that served under Donald Trump. And I think that had he taken that job and had he been confirmed by the Senate, I think that Randy would have been a very unorthodox, but yet a very it would have fit in perfectly with the Trump administration, because you had an unorthodox president from in the standpoint that he came from business. He didn't come from politics. And Randy, of course, did serve in politics, but with his varied background, I think it would have been beneficial to the nation to have someone like that serve in that position. Someone who's not consumed with politics, someone who doesn't owe everything to politics, someone who's not going to make decisions only based on politics. And I was very unhappy with the two attorney generals that served under Donald Trump. And Randy, I did not know that. And that wow, just imagining what could have been, that would have been something.
Well, it just shows you the power of being involved with the New York Yankees. I mean, that brand is crazy. Like the Dodgers, incredible brands.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
Oh,
That's
listen,
right.
Steve,
I'll give you an
I've got it.
example. I'll give you an example. I mean, yeah, I know somebody. I know a kid who interned for the Yankees and went on to have another internship afterward, and then get a job with that second internship with the other company. And when they see New York Yankees on that resume, even in that capacity as an entry level, as an intern, whatever, during the summer while in college, it means so much.
Sure
It means
does.
so much. It's a door opener. It's impressive because the Yankees, and no offense to the Dodgers, but the Yankees, I believe, are the cream of the crop when it comes to organizations, and they are considered as such in the business world. And again, that's another tribute to Randy and all the people who have come before him. But Randy, who's there now, Randy, who's been there for so many years, and Randy, who continues to get the job done. And also people like, Lon Truss. By the way, you talk about Lafayette High School. We could name Larry King. We could name Johnny Franco. We could name Vic Damone. We could name a lot of people. But Lon Truss of the Yankees also went to Lafayette High School.
So, Steve, which arena is more vicious, politics or sports?
Wow. There's viciousness in both. As we're, you could look at ESPN these days, and see the viciousness and the bias of ESPN. Yeah, you name me a strong conservative that's allowed to be on ESPN. They're just not there. And the recent firings and the controversy and the political correctness, it's horrible. And I think that's a very emblematic. Look, you look at the social justice movement that rammed down people's throats. I mean, people on this very panel here might disagree. Ray and Steve might disagree, but to me, they wouldn't allow Pete Alonso. By the way, Harvey Arrington and Philip Bondi wrote that book that I was talking about. But they wouldn't allow Pete Alonso to put 9/11 tribute on his sneakers and buy those and have those made and handed out to the players on the Mets. But they allow social justice, anti-police garbage, in the end zones and here and there, and even in baseball they had some kind of social justice displays. So it's just not right. It's just not right. So I think the viciousness probably more in politics, but sports is catching up.
Well, it's gotten worse. It's gotten worse in politics. I never thought I'd get to see it to be like this. I mean, and it's when you're a Democrat as opposed to a Republican, it's like, you're almost sometimes afraid to say you're a Democrat or a Republican.
Oh yeah, I mean they've got they beat up Trump people with Trump hats and banned people, and I mean people got injured and hurt. They slit their tires. They took shots at them, and if this had happened the other way, which would be equally as wrong, the media would be all over it. But if it's a Trump supporter, you know, to the media, they're Nazis, they're homophobes, they're xenophobes. They kind of deserve what they get.
Well, Robbie Robinson chased me with a drumstick a couple of years ago. So.
Wow. But you know what? We have Lenny Randle backstage. We're going to try to bring him on. I think, Steve, you know him. Robbie, I think you know him too from a distance. He's a great ambassador of the game. He's the most interesting man in baseball. Lenny, are you there?
Hello, guys. Yeah,
How are
ciao. Come stai? Bene. How you guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
That's okay. Let's keep going.
But Lenny,
Go ahead.
talk
Yes.
about what you're doing these days.
Well, I'm out of prison. That's a joke. Ray got me out. All of Ray's posts got me out in Frankie Valley. So, and my singing got me out. And knowing Tommy Lasorda, I did a tribute to Tommy Lasorda 2 or 3 weeks ago with Roberto Angotti. And we, in Fullerton, with the mayor, Bruce Whitaker. And Eric Carrollson and I and Mike Socha and I were crying. Tommy Lasorda was my first scout in high school. Wayne Simpson, Dickie Puritan, and Reggie Smith, Lonnie Smith, Al Cowens. Okay, you've heard of these guys, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
Kenny Landro. So it's been an emotional time for all of us. With Enos Cabell, we're crying and bawling because he came into the hood to eat our food and pasta because our moms could cook.
Wow.
And then he scouted us second. First it was the food, then it was the players.
That's
so
funny.
to this day, we've been doing a tribute to him internationally, Italy, with the mayor and the sister cities of Torino, Vicino Piccola Città, a little city in Italy, where he's actually the ambassador still. There's the Tommy Lasorda Field in Italy.
Wow.
Lenny, tell the people about your experience with the Yankees in '79.
Which one? The one when you took my Mercedes Benz and I'm still looking for it? Or the one when Steinbrenner brought me in the day of Thurman and Reggie and Lou Piniella coming in and we were crying and bawling because we lost Thurman, the captain. And my experiences were like twofold because as a Texas Ranger, I would always hear I'd be a Yankee, and I didn't know how that was going to happen. I'd hear from Mickey Mantle, and I'd hear from DiMaggio, and I'd hear from Yogi, and I didn't know the language they were talking.
Yeah, I think we're having some technical problems, but we're going to try to get him on the phone. We have a video here when he was with Seattle, and this is the kind of guy this guy does. He's a jokester. He's serious, but he's the most interesting man in baseball. Let's check this little video out.
Against reliever Larry Anderson. Fastball.
Now here's Lenny Randle.
When the Mariners beat the Red Sox, pitching baseball, what a sight. Every kid who's 14 and under will want to come to Jack and Night. Get a free jacket. Get a free jacket. Get a free jacket.
So
Wow.
Lenny, you just showed a little video when you were in Seattle.
That was cool.
Talk about that because you're promoting. You're always there for your teammates in your tuxedo. But talk about what it is to be, a teammate for all these teams and what you do. And you're the first American player to play in Italy, I think, in 1983.
It's kind of weird. I was like in college at Arizona State. We'd go over to different countries. I played in the Olympics, played against Cuba, played against Fidel Castro's team, Panama, and Puerto Rico. And I didn't know the element of baseball until I met Lasorda, because he says you're going to have a world experience. I'm 18, 19, listening to Don Drysdale and Albert Pearson tell me stories. I had no idea what that was going to lead to. So having the experience playing in 6 teams, major leagues, Seattle Mariners, Texas Rangers, Yankees, Mets, Cubs, and it's been a phenomenal experience. It's a dream. I'm like living in a dream. Ted Williams flies into Arizona to pick me up, and I'm going, who's Ted Williams? I thought he was a pilot for the Army.
Close.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wow.
That's incredible.
My life hasn't been normal since, and being asked to do commercials, TV, promotions, internationally, 5 languages, 31 countries. I'm like, dude, I'm still 19.
You know, we have Steve Malsberg on here. I don't know if you guys ever crossed paths, Steve.
It doesn't go away. And playing in Seattle with Maury Wills, who was a former Dodger, learning how to punch from him. I've been around the Dodgers since I was like 6 years old.
Well, Robbie Robinson. Hey, Robbie Robinson.
A great blessing. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. It's like I'm walking in a fantasy, and I think I'm a hologram.
There you go. But Steve, what do you think about Lenny Randle's career and what he does?
Oh no, we never met. I didn't get there in time. He was with the Mets in New York prior to coming to the Yankees, but that was '79, I believe, his year with the Yankees, and I didn't start really heading out to the stadium as a member of the media until '81, '82. But no, I mean, who doesn't know Lenny Randle? Not only living in New York, obviously, but anybody who followed baseball during the span of his career. And I love that ad. Oh, that ad! I mean, man, that was really cool. I never saw that before. So look, anybody who gives back, anybody who goes on, and by the way, there are so many people who after they finish their career in sports, you don't hear from them much. They're not out there. They're not doing things, but obviously, that's not the case with Lenny.
Massive for baseball, but there's one play. We're going to have to show it, but I want to show our viewers a little bit, and you're going to comment on that in a few moments. Let's check it out.
Against reliever Larry Anderson. Fastball tapped at the plate. It'll trickle down the third baseline. The Mariners are going to let it roll. Lenny Randle gets down on his hands and knees and blows on it like a curler, and it goes foul. Randle puts on quite a show, and here comes Jim Fryout, and he's going to protest.
Lenny, tell us about what happened with that.
Well, I had no clue. I was playing Billy ball. I came up through Billy in '74 with the Texas Rangers, and he said, do anything, get hit by a ball, get knocked down, brush back, take it like a man, military style. I was just trying to win a game. I didn't touch the ball. Right. I yelled at the ball, go foul, go foul. My breath is so bad, it made the ball go foul. So if you look at the video, I called Judge Judy and I called Dr. Phil, and I said, give me Dr. Phil, because I did not touch the ball. So it says in the rule book, Lenny Randle no blow rule. Before then, there was never anybody trying to attempt that.
You must be a success at birthday parties, blowing out candles.
I do 15 a week. If you go to my Facebook, I just did a 12 and a 5-year-old birthday party last night at Esports Academy.
Wow. They should have had a Lenny Randle mouthwash.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. We could probably get it from Dominican for $1.50.
But Lenny, you're all about good spirit and laughing and making people smile. We had a conversation today. There's only 68 days to Christmas. What's that all about?
Dude, leave me 68 days. As soon as August ended, I'll start getting a tree.
Yeah, baby.
I posted some of my friends and my Goombas in Chicago. If you go to the page, you'll see Italian Christmas. We started already. We got the food, we got the vino, we got the wine, we got the pasta, 105 different pastas, and we're dancing in the street. Now, if you guys don't get a part of that video and look at it and not feel it, we need Christmas right now so bad that America's dying for laughter. So, God, do me a favor, spread the Christmas joy starting right now, because it changes the world. It changes America. So if you don't get it, I'll mail you a tree.
Okay.
Now, Lenny, you're a music guy. What do you know about Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons?
I did a show. I was with Mike Piazza in Chicago doing a tribute to Lasorda. I flew from Washington, PA to do a tribute to Tommy because he's our ambassador, our mentor. So I was saying, hey, with Jerry Goldstein. Remember Jerry Goldstein with War?
Right.
Who actually wrote the songs.
Right.
Who actually wrote 15 songs. And he says, Lenny, call me. I'll get you with Frankie. Frankie knows Jerry Goldstein, who's with the War, Cisco Kid, George Lopez, and all that. I'm in that entourage. So I flew all the band to Japan.
Wow.
Frankie Valli is our mentor. And during that period for Lasorda, we actually sang some of his favorite songs. But the reason why we sing, because you got to eat. And if you don't eat, you don't sing. If you don't sing, you don't eat.
What were you going to say, Robbie?
Tommy Lasorda used to come around a lot with Frankie Valli shows, and we had a great time. And I remember having dinner with him. And, of course, Tommy Lasorda and Frankie Valli were both Goombas. And so it was always a lot of fun with Tommy.
Lenny's
Tommy
a Goomba
was a great
too.
mentor.
Yeah.
Lenny's more Italian than Frankie Valli.
I know.
That means we're twins.
That's right. That's right. Well, Lenny, we want to thank.
Wait. I gotta ask Lenny, what is your favorite Frankie Valli song, Lenny?
Hang on, Sloopy. Boyfriend. I mean, your boyfriend's back, and but I changed it to girlfriend. Of course, I got 4 sisters.
Wow.
Can you sing "Big Girls Don't Cry" for us,
Can you sing
Lenny?
"Big Girls Don't Cry," Lenny?
Wow,
That's pretty good. Frankie's under the weather right now. Maybe you can fill in for a couple of shows.
That's right.
Yeah. Lenny called me. I got my own plane.
All right. But Lenny, thank you so very much, man. We love you. We'll get you back on the show real soon.
God bless you guys. Be safe. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Leonard.
Joy to the world.
There we go. We love you, Lenny. That's Lenny Randall. Great guy, right?
I think that's Lenny Randelli.
Lenny Randelli.
But if I may, I have a Four Seasons a Frankie Valli connection.
Yeah, let's hear it.
The song "Sherry."
Yeah.
Okay. Was, as far as I know, the story was written for Sherry Specter, Jack Specter's daughter. Tell me if I'm wrong. Who was a DJ in New York, a WMCA good guy at the time.
Right.
And I went to school with Sherry Specter all through grade school and junior high school. And it was Jack Specter who used to bring me up when he went from DJ, they switched to talk. He became a sports talk host in New York for a few years, way before Art Russ, when I was a little kid. And he used to bring me up. And I fell in love with the red light, the microphone, the whole thing. So in one way, I think much of my interest is due to Jack Specter, who had, it's kind of like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon here.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know the real story, but I know Bob Gaudio wrote that song. That was the first hit for the Four Seasons. And Bob supposedly wrote that in about 15 minutes on a napkin kind of thing. And so if that was the inspiration, bravo. And you're right. Frankie Valli has inspired so many people I've seen in this world on all kinds of levels in parts of the music business and acting and in all walks of life. He's just this real special man that has inspired so many people.
And I just want to say a group of guys that he has inspired who are saying hello to us right now are the Modern Gentlemen, and they're saying hello, Robbie, and saying, so I'm waving back at the boys.
Oh, yeah. The Brighams,
Yes.
Todd.
Yes.
Landry.
That's right. That's right.
Beautiful guys who, in essence, say just wonderful, wonderful things about Frankie and you, Robbie, and their wonderful experience. They spent over 10 years with the Four Seasons, so it's just beautiful. I just love to hear people never forget their roots.
No doubt. Well, Steve, I want to thank you very much for joining us, and thank you so very much. And your show's outstanding, and thank you for everything you do for New York.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
You the man, brother. You the man.
Thank you, Steve.
See you soon, Ray. Nice
Thank you
meeting
very
guys.
much for coming on my documentary on Saturday.
My pleasure.
Cool.
Thank you. God bless. So Robbie, you have some news for us. What's going on with you? Not that you're not busy enough.
I know. Well, I've been with Frankie Valli, been working with Frankie now for over 40 years, and I continue to work with Frankie. Yeah, 40. That's almost as well. It's almost as long as you and Ray, right, Steve?
That's right.
But,
just about. Just missed.
And I'll be working with Frankie Valli for the rest of our lives, I'm sure. And I've been writing songs for decades and decades, and now that we had a little bit of a break during this pandemic, I thought, you know what, I need an outlet for these songs. And so finally I've decided to start a new record label called Robbie's Records. So why not? You know, because I've got hundreds of songs laying around and recordings through decades of stuff. And so, of course, you guys know my collaborations with our friend Sarah Nimitz,
yes,
who we did the theme song for this show, which is our version of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. And
We're still
Sarah and
waiting
I
for our
got
check.
together. Our buddy Joey D, who was of Joey D and the Starlighters, had a big hit record in 1962 called The Peppermint Twist.
Right.
And Sarah and I have done our own version of the Peppermint Twist by Brother Robbie and Twist Girl. And it's sort of a modern, fun version of it. Joey D loves it. Joey D just came out with a new book called The Peppermint Twist Chronicles, which is a really, really cool book. And I encourage everybody to get that book. I wish we had a picture of it here, but you can get it on Amazon. But this goes hand in hand with that book, and it's our version of the Peppermint Twist. And I thought maybe we'd play that.
All right, check it out.
The first release. This is the first release on Robbie's
record. Can't wait. Awesome.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, they got a new dance and it goes like this. The name of the dance is the Peppermint Twist. Bop shabba, bop 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 shabba, bop shabba, bop 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 shabba, bop bop shabba. Well, they got a new dance and it goes like this. Bop shabba, bop 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 shabba. Yeah, the name of the dance is the Peppermint Twist. Wow. Bop shabba, bop 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 shabba. Well, you like it like this, Peppermint Twist. Round and round, up and down. Round and round, up and down. Round and round and up and down and a 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3, jump. I keep giving it on the 45th Street, where JD and the Twisters meet, and you learn to do this, the Peppermint Twist. Ooh, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. It's okay, all day, it's okay, but you learn to do this, the Peppermint Twist. Well, they got a new dance and it goes like this. Joey D call the dance the Peppermint Twist. Bop shabba, bop 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 shabba, bop shabba, bop 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 shabba, bop 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 shabba. Joey D taught the world how to Peppermint Twist.
Gio, you're going back home after another really nice season where you've done so much for the New York Yankees and for the kids of New York. I mean, we're going to miss you, but how do you feel about this year?
I mean, really good, Phil. Really happy. I mean, not that way we wanted to be in the going to the World Series, but I feel really happy for being here, for playing for the New York Yankees, and feel really good.
Now, next year, where are we going?
To the World Series. I gotta keep working really hard, especially for this moment. With you, Ray, I really always say thank you for all this moment. I really appreciate it.
And thank you, all the Yankees. Thank you, Randy Levine, Brian Cash, and Lon Trost, and everybody at the offices for everything you do. Brian Smith at the Community Relations. Thank you for everything. Nina, everybody at the Yankees. Thank you. That was Gio's goodbye. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
He's done so much for this city, and God knows where he goes next year. But go ahead.
Great guy. And we got Gene DiNapoli here because he had the show right after our show. Welcome, sir.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey,
good. You ready for another great show?
Listen, when you talk about great and you talk about greats of the 60s, how could you not mention Peter Noon of Herman's Hermits?
Absolutely.
And he is my guest
There's
tonight.
a kind of hush
Oh,
All over the world.
Wow.
Tonight, all over the world.
So Gene, you booked Peter Noon. Robbie, we got to connect with this guy, Gene DiNapoli.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I found out?
Peter Noon is great. No
Absolutely. You know what I found out, Robbie?
What's that?
No amount of groveling and begging goes unnoticed. But you know something? I got to tell you, when I do my work on my guests, I am amazed at what I find out. Like tonight, we're going to find out how Peter Noon was a child star on England's Broadway. I mean, it's just amazing the amount of work that this guy has done and continues to do. So we hope everybody that's watching your show stays with us on Reminiscing with Gene DiNapoli.
I'm going to stay on.
Yeah, Peter.
I'm gonna stay on. I love Peter.
My aunt loves Peter Noon, so this is a great thing. So,
Great.
Gene, have a great show, buddy.
I thank you, but I got to ask Robbie something.
Yes,
I'm gonna
sir.
Robbie, I'm going to put you on the spot.
I'm
You're
on the
not going to
spot.
get Robbie
Tell me.
Robinson. He's not leaving.
Will you be a guest on my show?
See, there he goes.
Here we
There
go.
you
My
go.
people, I'm going to have my people talk to your people. Ray Negroni
here
will
we
be
go.
negotiate it for you.
I am my people. I'll see you
He's
guys.
another-
Great show.
He's another goofball from the Bronx. Thank you, Gene. So, Robbie's Records. You got your show tonight. What's going on tonight in Jam and Java?
Well, I think I have a poster here. It's going to be announcing Robbie's Records. So today, we're rolling everything out here. And we're just getting all the ducks in a row. It's going to be all of music is going to be out there on all the major platforms and even TikTok. I want to see Ray do a nice TikTok video to the Peppermint Twist, man. You would just kill
there
it.
we go. There we go.
Get your afros out there, man.
Coming back, baby.
There we
Coming
go.
back.
You gave him
Yeah.
a new thing.
Yeah.
Robbie, thank you so very much,
Thank
man.
you.
Have a great show. Robbie's Records. We can't wait to
Robbie's
help you along
Records.
with
I'm gonna
that.
cut an album.
We love you. Go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers.